Good morning, students. Today we shall start the next chapter, Tertiary and Quaternary Activities. This is chapter 7, unit 3. So, last time we did primary activities. This next chapter, secondary activities, is not in our syllabus. So, today we shall start with tertiary activities. Tertiary activities, they are related to the service sector. Manpower is an important component of the service sector, as most of the tertiary activities are performed by skilled labor, professionally trained experts and consultants. तो tertiary activities किससे related है? They are not related with production. They are related with the services. The service sector is called the tertiary activity. All types of services are special skills provided in exchange of payments. ये service payment के against they are provided. Health, education, law, governance, recreation, etc. They all require professional skills. In the initial stages of economic development, most of the people, they were working in the primary sector. But as the development of the economy took place, people started shifting to the production sector, that is secondary sector. Then with more development, majority of the workers now get employment in the tertiary activity, and a moderate proportion are employed in the secondary sector, that is the production center. Now tertiary activities include both production and exchange. The production involves the provision of services that are consumed. The output is indirectly measured in terms of wages and salary. The production क्या है? They are not doing the actual production. They are providing their services, and for these services they are being paid. And exchange, it involves trade, transport and communication facilities that are used to overcome distances. So tertiary activities, therefore, they involve the commercial output of services rather than production of tangible goods. So it involves services rather than actual production. They are not directly involved in the processing of physical raw materials. Common examples are the work of a plumber, electrician, technician, launderer, barber, shopkeeper, driver, cashier, teacher, doctor, lawyer and publisher, etc. The main difference between the secondary activities and tertiary activities is that the expertise provided by services relies more on specialized skills, experience and knowledge of the workers rather than on the production techniques, machinery, factory processes. Now, different types of tertiary activities. As we know that we purchase our books, stationery from traders' shop, and we travel by bus or train. We send letters, talk on the telephone and obtain services of teachers for studies and doctors at the time of illness. Thus, trade, transport, communication and services are some of the tertiary activities that we are now going to discuss. The first type of tertiary activity is trade and commerce. Trade is essentially buying and selling of items which are produced elsewhere. They are not produced in this sector. They may be produced in the secondary sector. So all the services in retail and wholesale trading which are intended for profit, they are included in this particular sector. The towns and cities where all these works take place are known as trading centers. The rise of trading from barter at the local level to money exchanging at international scale has produced many centers and institutions which are known as trading centers or collection and distribution points. The trading centers may be divided into two: rural trading centers and urban trading centers. So first let us take rural marketing centers. These centers, they provide trading services to the nearby settlements. They are most rudimentary centers where personal and professional services are not well developed. Such places act as collecting and distributing centers at the local level. Most of these centers have mandis, wholesale markets, and also retail areas. Rural marketing centers make available goods and services to the rural folk living in the near vicinity. तो ये समझ में आया, रूरल मार्केटिंग सेंटर्स जो हैं वो सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं आसपास के एरियाज को, आसपास के सेटलमेंट्स को, एंड दे वर्क ऑन एन रूरल लेवल. दे आर नॉट वेरी वेल डेवलप्ड. और यहाँ पे जो है ये यहाँ पे मंडियाँ होती है, जैसे मंडी होलसेल मार्केट्स होते हैं, एंड दे ऑल्सो हैव रिटेल आउटलेट्स. और यहाँ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज जो लोकल फोक है, रूरल फोक है, उनको प्रोवाइड करी जाती है. सेकेंड इज पीरियोडिक मार्केट्स. In certain rural areas where there is no regular market, rural markets are organized at different intervals of time. Rural areas में क्या होता है, जहाँ regular services नहीं available हैं, जहाँ regular material supply available नहीं है, तो वहाँ पे क्या है, कुछ थोड़े थोड़े समय में periodic markets लगते हैं. Maybe on a particular day of the week और अ पर्टिकुलर डे ऑफ द मंथ वहाँ पे वो हार्ट टाइप लगती है. दीज आर यूजुअली वीकली और बाई वीकली मार्केट्स विच केटर टू द नीड्स ऑफ द सराउंडिंग रूरल पीपल. दीज मार्केट्स आर होल्ड ऑन स्पेसिफिक डेज एंड मूव फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनादर. ये मूवेबल है, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह भी ये मार्केट्स मूव होते रहते हैं. दस द शॉपकीपर्स सर्व अ मच लार्जर एरिया and remain busy on all the days. Now third is urban marketing centers. These are set up in urban areas and provide goods and services to the urban people. Goods provided are generally from the secondary activity, that is manufactured goods, while the services made available are those of professionals such as teachers, lawyers, doctors, consultants, etc. Next is retail trading services. This type of business in which goods are sold directly to the consumers is called retail trading service. It is generally done in fixed establishments and stores which are solely devoted to the sale of goods. Some retail trading is done by move stores or mobile stores. Mobile stores भी होते हैं जो जगह जगह जाकर सामान सेल करते हैं. Street peddling, hand carts, trucks, door to door, mail orders, telephones, automatic vending machines and internet are examples of non-store retail selling. Okay, so retail selling you understood. Next is wholesale trading services. This involves bulk business through a number of intermediary merchants and supply houses. What do we mean by intermediary? कि एक तो होता है फैक्ट्री आउटलेट जहाँ प्रोडक्शन होता है. फैक्ट्री से जो पर्सन होलसेल में बल्क खरीदता है वो होलसेलर है. वो बल्क खरीद के अलग अलग शॉपकीपर्स को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है अपना थोड़ा सा प्रॉफिट रख के. Then the shopkeeper has his own margin and sells the goods to the consumers. So this person, the intermediator, is called the wholesaler. Wholesale traders, including large stores and chain stores, are capable of buying directly from the manufacturers. Wholesalers often extend credit to retail stores to such an extent that the retailer operates very largely on the wholesaler's capital. कभी कभी क्या होता है कि wholesalers जो है ना, wholesalers वो बहुत क्रेडिट पर सामान दूसरों को, शॉपकीपर्स को दे देते हैं. तो इस वजह से जो रिटेलर है वो कई बार उस होलसेलर के कैपिटल पर ही डिपेंडेंट हो जाते हैं. पर होलसेलिंग ट्रेडिंग services, they are intermediary services. Then last is transport. Transport is a system in which goods and passengers are carried from one place to another. It is a very important segment of the economy, and economic growth largely depends on the availability of transport facilities. जो भी हमारी इकोनॉमी है और इकोनॉमिकल ग्रोथ, वो मेन डिपेंड करेगा ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सिस्टम पे. हमारे वहाँ की ट्रांसपोर्टेशन फैसिलिटीज़ कैसी हैं, कितनी अवेलेबल हैं, तो पूरा अपना इकोनॉमी उसी पर डिपेंड करता है. चीप एंड एफिशिएंट ट्रांसपोर्ट हेल्प्स इन प्रोडक्शन, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड कंजम्पशन ऑफ गुड्स, एंड वैल्यू ऑफ मटेरियल इज सिग्निफिकेंटली एनहांस्ड if sufficient transport facility is available. अगर ट्रांसपोर्ट फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल नहीं है तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स आ जाएगी. अब ट्रांसपोर्ट डिस्टेंस को मेजर किया जाता है 3 फॉर्म्स में. फर्स्ट इज किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस. इट इज द एक्चुअल डिस्टेंस ऑफ रूट लेंथ इन किलोमीटर्स. सेकेंड इज टाइम डिस्टेंस. द टाइम टेकन टू ट्रेवल फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर. Third is cost distance. It is the cost involved in traveling on a route. So when we are selecting the mode of transport, distance in term of time or cost is taken into consideration. Isochrone lines, they are drawn on the map to join places equal in terms of the time taken to reach to another place. Now, what are the factors that affect transportation services? First is demand. Demand for transportation depends upon the size of the population and the standard of living of the people. Larger the size of the population, higher will be the standard of living and greater will be the demand for transportation. Second is routes. Transport is always done on specific routes which depend on location of cities, towns, villages, industrial centers and raw materials, pattern of trade between them and nature of the landscape between them, type of climate and funds available for overcoming the obstacles along the length of the route. So transport always specific routes पर चलता है जो डिपेंड करता है इन सारे दूसरे फैक्टर्स पे कि वहाँ पे कितनी सिटीज़ हैं, टाउन्स हैं, विलेजेस हैं, कहाँ रॉ मटेरियल्स है, क्या पैटर्न है ट्रेडिंग का, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. नेक्स्ट इज कम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज. नाउ कम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज, they are concerned with the transmission of words and messages, facts and ideas. In the early days, communication was dependent on transport. Written messages were carried, and they were actually carried by hand, animals, boat, road, rail and air. That is why all forms of transport are also referred as lines of communication. Communication is easy and convenient in those areas where efficient network of transport exists. Modern technological advancement such as telephony and satellites, they have made communication independent of transport. For such services like satellites and telephony, we don't need transport. However, Even today, transport provides valuable support to our communication system. That is the reason that large volumes of mail still continues to be handled by post offices all over the world. Some of the important communication services are: first is telecommunication. Telecommunications, they are dependent on the development of electrical technology. It has greatly enhanced the speed with which messages can be sent, and it has brought a great revolution in the communication system. Now the time taken to send messages and ideas has been reduced from weeks to minutes only. The recent advancement in telephony has made it possible to communicate directly and instantly at any time from anywhere in the world. The most important thing is that mobile phone has come within the reach of the common man nowadays. The telegraph, Morse code and telex have almost become things of the past. जो टेलीग्राफ सेंड करने का सिस्टम था और ये जो दूसरे सिस्टम्स थे वो तो अब बहुत पुराने हो गए. अब क्या है? मोबाइल फोन. ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन इज कैरिंग अ मोबाइल फोन. तो द सिस्टम ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन हैज चेंज्ड ड्रास्टिकली. It has become much easier. Now the world has become a very small place. Then radio and television, they have become very strong mediums of broadcasting and telecasting news, pictures to vast audiences around the world, and hence they are termed as mass media. They are very important for advertising as well as entertainments. Newspapers, they comprise a strong print medium as they are able to cover events, happenings anywhere in the world. And satellite communication, it relays information of the earth from space. And last but not least, internet. It has really revolutionized the global communication system. Without internet, we cannot even stay peacefully for even a single day. Internet has so much entered into our lives now. And next and last is services. These are the different levels at which services are provided and availed. Some services are meant for industry, some for people, and some for both industry and people. That is transport. Every service has its cost, and services are provided only to those individuals who have the means to pay for them. Low order services such as grocery shops and laundries are more common and widespread than high order services or more specialized ones like those of accountants, consultants and physicians. Services involve फिजिकल और मेंटल लेबर. कुछ कामों में फिजिकल लेबर की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है, कुछ में मेंटल लेबर की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द गार्डनर, द लॉन्डरर एंड द बार्बर, दे डू primarily physical labor, whereas on the other hand teachers, lawyers, physicians, musicians and others, they perform mental labor. So a large number of services have been regulated: making and maintaining highways and bridges, maintaining firefighting departments, and supplying or supervising education and customer care are some important examples of regulated services. तो services भी अलग अलग तरह की हैं, है ना? These services are often supervised or performed by governments or companies. Corporations constituted by central and state governments to supervise and control the marketing of services like transport, communication, energy and water supply, primary health care, engineering, law and management are professional services. Availability of market influences the location of recreational and entertainment services. multiplexes and restaurants. They are generally located in or near the central business district. Other activities like golf course are located away from the central business district where land prices are comparatively lower. Last is informal and or non-formal sector. These are the personal services which are availed by people in their everyday life. Unskilled workers, they migrate from rural to urban areas and find employment in domestic services like housekeepers, cooks, gardeners, etc. This segment comprises of unorganized services. Mumbai's Dabbawala service, tiffin services, is provided to about 1,75,000 customers all over the city.